Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Wednesday, the 14th of October. All right, now just having a look where the North American market's closed. I mean, the risk on, risk off profile, it's been pretty active. You know, the equities are down a small amount. I'd say it's pretty neutral, if anything, slightly negative. But what we're seeing is, we saw the start of a move yesterday. To me, this move, what I'm talking about is the move in the dollar, right? The dollar rallied pretty much across the board. Kiwi, which is the one pair with the worst sort of macro sort of outlook, you know, very negative central bank, looking at negative rates, it's trading sideways while the rest of the pairs are going down. Let me just show you this. So, but the dollar started to rally. Now, to me, I had a good search around. I couldn't believe it at first, but looks like it was the move was based on the fact that, well, not the Trump's COVID plan, but basically the fact that a vaccine that they were working on, or Trump may have been touting, was had weird signs or had some bad reactions on patients, and was basically that was out of the water. So you know, questions about that coronavirus vaccine and also the US fiscal stimulus package, obviously, as well as the US election, sort of sends everything into a very hard microcosm to work out what the hell is going on. Okay, when I see moves with the dollars moving in particular, and I'll show you this more so on the other charts, you're really trying to isolate what is causing the move. Now, when it's the dollar, it's usually pretty easy, but the news probably didn't come out for about 45 minutes after the dollar started to move. So looks like whoever was close to that information got first hand of it. Today, what's going on with the major pairs? Well, you know, looking at this, you can think that euro's going up and the dollar's going down, but this is just the normal cycle, the normal flow, right, of how the currencies trade. They just don't go straight down in one straight line. So, you know, and they're not exactly going up. Now, let me just give you a look at the charts here, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So here's euro, right? It's been flogged to the downside, as has sterling. Now, sterling's got a couple of things, right? So this is a bit of dollar strength, as well as, don't forget, Thursday's the D-Day for the final Brexit, either do a deal or not. So that's going to weigh on sterling. I was a bit surprised yesterday or the day before. It's just sort of sitting up here. You'd think they'd be wailing into it. Well, we've only got a couple of days before that is finalized. Here's the Kiwi here, which to me doesn't make any sense. It should be way down here. And the Aussie sort of just drifting with the outcome of the US dollar. Dollar CAD had a bit of a little break higher. Okay, oil, it's pretty uncertain. It's now chopping about as well. So we had that initial break above the resistance line in dollar CAD, and now it's trading sideways. And dollar yen, like, good luck trying to work that one out. So what's really going on here? Well, this is where those the culmination basically of, you know, numerous geopolitical events, and this is going to be quite difficult for us coming into the US election, right? Where Trump is going to be throwing things all over the place. I see he's already throwing barbs at Biden on fracking, on some sort of fracking campaign. So it's going to be tricky. And what we're seeing is, if you can't see it, right, market direction here is we're seeing fluctuations in the short-term direction, but overall, in the longer-term picture, there's no real change in trends. They're just thrashing about. You know what? If anything, sort of like the range trade, but you know, I was going to say the range trade either side of the market there, but there's no real support and resistance. We're getting all these false breaks, so which is very commonplace for geopolitical markets. Okay, so I don't know how to really focus on this. Like, weird things are happening. Like the Kiwi, as I said, macro-wise, it's a big sell. It's higher, and it's actually not even retreating where all the other pairs did as well. So just be aware, the moves, right? If the moves are just short term, well, your trading is going to be short term. And that's a little bit problematic because that momentum comes in and out. You're not going to be hanging on to these trades for too long. You might, you know, take 30, 40 points out of it, and that's it. Bag it and tag it. Look for the next day. It's only when you start to see the longer term picture line up with the short term that you're probably holding the trades for a longer period and looking for a lot more cash. But right now, it's all short term trading opportunities. There are some clean ones. Sterling in particular has, to me, is a bit of a focus with the Brexit thing coming up. Outside of that, it's a bit of a mess. Let me just come back. I meant to show you the data, right? So this is the economic data. So US CPI numbers basically as expected. The German zoo current conditions pretty much as expected. So the data, right, didn't give us anything. Okay, you're looking down here as well. So there's no change in the macros, but what we're seeing is the fluctuations of momentum based around weird geopolitical events. Obviously, the vaccine has been a very big talking point. The fact, so what we're seeing here, right? This is what you need to be noting down on your blotter. There's a news article out about there's issues with the vaccine, right? So that puts it on the back burner. That created the US dollar to go higher. So you've got to put that in your vault and think, okay, so if there's a story about the vaccine coming out, the US dollar is going to go down. And that's what you're looking for in the news now. Okay, specifically. Obviously, you've got other things like the US elections. The whole US-China thing will come back up again. And obviously the UK-EU Brexit deal this Thursday, or no deal. That's going to be important as well. So sterling crosses, euro sterling. Big focus going into the rest of the week. If there's any more vaccine news, positive vaccine news, sell dollars. Negative vaccine news, buy dollars, right? That's what we're looking for. And that's what you've got to identify when you are looking at the markets, right? That's, as a pro, you're trying to isolate where the movement is and what it's being caused by. And that's where you've got to focus your direction, your attention, I should say. All right, guys, that's it from me. Bit of a tricky one at the moment. But as I said, short term, plenty of activity, but longer term, there's no real trends. So don't get too caught up in your positions. What we used to say in the banks is don't fall in love with your position, right? Because it's probably going to change the next day. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheerio.